Hi everyone, welcome to Tom's Manshed. Okay, so it's been a while since I've done a review of one of Lidl's tools. As you know, if you look back through some of the videos I've done tons and tons on Lidl's middle of Lidl type tools, which I think are great. As I mentioned in every one, they're not okay, they're not up to DeWalt and Milwaukee and Makita standards, but they're about a third of the price, and they do have a 3-year warranty. So for lightweight hobby type work and even some professional ones that maybe not used every single day and under heavy duty conditions, they're absolutely fine, and they do honour their 3-year warranty. Again, look back in some of my other videos to where I explain that. So what it was, I was there on Thursday. I do my usual little shop on Thursday, and I saw this, and I think I said it last week as well. I ummed and ahed whether to get it or not, and I thought, do I need it? And the answer to that in most cases is no, I don't need it. Do I want it? Yeah, of course I want it. So I've just nipped back now, Saturday. Just had my flu jab, and after that went to Lidl's and got one. Now what it is a mini angle grinder and a rotary tool set. Now I've got both. As you can see here, I've got this DREMEL set. I've added a few things to it over the years, you know, flexible drive shaft. And the DREMEL itself is mains powered, that's the only thing. It's not a cordless one. But I don't know why I'm showing you these when I'm reviewing the Lidl's one, but as you can see, it's got a digital speed controller, which is really handy because you can set it totally accurately. But you know, it's fairly sort of like bulky. Like I say, I've added loads over the years. That thing, a little saw, so I don't know, maybe some of them will fit this new tool, I don't know. I'll just put that on the floor for now. And I've also got, and I've done a review on this really handy little gadget, another Lidl's tool. Click the little card up here for a full review on this. And as you can see, it's a mini angle grinder, and dead handy. Works on the thin type Lidl's batteries, and I've used that for loads, for storing off screws and stuff when you can't be bothered getting your big mains powered 4-inch angle grinder out. So I found it really handy, and they do blades for it, diamond type blades and all sorts. So like I say, check up at that card before for a review on that. But what I saw in Lidl's was this. So I'll just hold it to the camera, you can check all the specifications on it. And it's cordless. It runs off their 20 volt X-Team batteries. I'll show you that in a second. And it comes, as do most Lidl tools now, without the battery, which is good, because you've obviously, if you're anything like me, you've got a collection of their batteries. You don't need a new battery with every single tool. Now what confused me, on if you look on that, it says cordless mini angle grinder and rotary tool. But if you look there at the bottom, the battery, it shows it without battery. There's like an adapter on it and a sort of lead coming out, and then a lead going into the rotary tool, and then the angle grinder is just like a screw thread. That it doesn't explain really what the cordless bit of it means. I would have thought like a little battery, like I just showed you, would clip in each of them. So I'm not really sure myself yet. So this is a live unboxing. I'm going to do a full, like I said, full review on it. You know my reviews, they do go on, so apologies in advance if they do. By all means, use the red line underneath to skip any unwanted bits. As always, I will annotate every single bit and tell you what bit corresponds to what bit of the review with a timeline, so you can skip that. Also, I will put any links of because I'm going to look up on Amazon some compatible cutting discs and tools and things for it. So I'll put on Amazon and maybe eBay as well below any compatible tools that you can get for this, because they didn't have a separate set of cutting discs or anything for this, which would have been nice in Lidl's. So I'll research it and see which ones will be compatible, and I'll put them below. But there will be affiliated links, which means that if you do click on that and you buy something from that browsing session, I do get a small commission on whatever you buy. Doesn't cost you any extra, but the little pennies help keep this channel going. So so back to it. I'm going to do the live unboxing now, because I know a lot of people do actually like to see the live unboxing. So you know as much as I know at this stage. I know as much as you know at this stage about how to use it, which is next to nothing. So I'm going to snip that thing, and then I'm going to have a thorough read of the instruction book, have a play with it, cutting various things, film it cutting various materials, what each tool does, how the battery fits and all that I'll go into then. But for now I'll just do this live unboxing. So take the cardboard. There you go. And as with all Lidl's tools, 3-year warranty. So let's see what's in the box. So that's what you get. So I think I know how it works now, but I'll just put the box there. Oh, didn't show you that, did I? Got it here on desk. Something I've had years, little mini craft. I think Black & Decker may have made these, but I got it from me modelling, I bet it was 25, 30 years ago that. But again, it's not cordless, it works off a great big wall plug thing, so it'd be handy to have a cordless one. So you get that little box of a couple of sanding discs, polishing stuff, some adapters, a spanner. Again, I'll go into detail later. Looks like there's two cutting discs in there. That goes in there. And there is that, which is the Rotary tool. That's the chuck end. And that's whatever it plugs into. Like I said, I'm not sure myself yet. And that is the mini angle grinder. Can trigger there. That'll be the lock button for changing. Yeah, locks it so you can change the tool. And you can see it's a lot smaller than Lidl's mini angle grinder. A lot like weighs nothing because it's powered by that flexible connection. Yeah, that's the one I reviewed before. That's the new one. And finally this. Now this is the thing the battery goes into. So it said recommend a 2 amp battery, because I thought the battery would be attached to the tool, and I was going to buy a 2. I've got a 4 amp battery, which is quite a hefty battery that I got for the impact driver. Again, check review on the Lidl's impact driver, and also the battery charger, a twin battery charger up there. But on this, it's like an adapter you put the battery into. So when they say cordless, it's not like your normal cordless tool that the battery goes on the tool itself. It's this. It is you're free from the mains. You could be working out in the middle of a field, so in that respect it is cordless, but there is a cord feeding the tool, so bit of a strange sort of way of doing it, but quite handy. Enables you to put a big hefty battery pack on here, which will last longer than the small lightweight ones, and still give you that away from the mains capability. So if you're doing up a boat or something, in dry dock or anything you've not got mains supply, this would be ideal. It's got a clip on the side of it, so you can clip that to your belt. So I'm just gonna, I forgot to bring it in, I'm just gonna bring in my battery now from the garage, so bear with me, I'll just go and get it. Okay, so I've been into the garage and got my battery, but before I show it you in action, I'll just show you there is room in the case for the battery. Now that's the 4 amp, the big chunky battery, so a 4 amp one will fit there. The 2 amp one will fit over here. The battery adapter that you put that into with the flexible thing to each tool goes there, as you saw before. And here there is space for the battery charger. Now that's the single battery charger that Lidl's do, and not the double one, obviously, which is much bigger. You couldn't get that in the case. So that's good that they've left space in this case for your standard single battery charger, the 4 amp battery, and the 2 amp over here. So we'll take the battery out now, and I'll show you plugging it in the thing. That's the battery charger I mentioned before. That's the dual one I got, and like I say, I go over that in a bit more detail in the review that I pointed out at the beginning on the impact driver. So check that card back there, and also I'll put a little card picture at the end of this video on the impact driver review. So that's the double one for that. That's the one I use. Like I said, obviously too big to fit in this case. So let's see how we actually connect the battery now to the tools. So there's your battery holder, if you will. And like I said, Lidl's have got their own range of batteries that fit all their tools. So this is the 20 volt 4 amp one. Little button here on the side to check its state of charge. So just slide that in there like that, and that would then clip to your belt. Like I say, you'd probably be better if you're using this, you know, carrying it around with the 2 amp one. The 2 amp will be plenty for these little tools, which are mainly for very lightweight work, intricate modelling type work. You don't really need a hefty 4 amp battery, and it'll be a lot lighter to carry around because that's a fair old weight. So I'll just put that on the table for now. And then first of all, the Rotary tool. On the end of that cable from the battery adapter thing is that 3-pin plug, and that goes in there. It will only go one way, so I'll just turn the tool around till it goes in. And it's quite a tight fit, push. This is the first time I've done it, so it's pretty intuitive. And then once you've done that, this goes over and holds it in place. You've got the on-off button here, which lights up red when it's on, and you've got your speed adjustment here, which is quite handy because you can adjust the speed down a thing on next to your belt or whatever, and you're not going to alter any speed up here. Once it's on there, turn this on here, and as you can hear, as I turn the volume, well, it is a volume as well, isn't it? Speed up here, you can hear the thing. So that's that, and like I say, that's with the switch on. You've got your switch here. If I turn it off at the battery pack before I turn it on here, and then I turn it back on, it doesn't start up until you turn it off and turn it on. Bit of a safety feature. So yeah, that's that. And you've got your spindle lock there. Press that in when you inserting a tool. Like I say, I'll show you in detail the tools and what they do and with it in use later. And that is tightly held on there. And this is just, say, a wire. So it is cordless in as such that it's mains free, but there is this cord between the battery pack and the thing. So I'm going to undo that now. Just undo it there. Take that out. Pull it out. I'm going to put the little angle grinder in. Again, turn it round till it goes in. Push that in. Tighten it up. We've got that flashing now, which probably means it's become disconnected, I presume. I'm not sure. So, press it again, and it comes on. Again, I'll tell you later on what the flashing is, I'll find out. And then you've got this, so. And again, speed altered with me turning this round. It's pretty slow. That shaking around noise probably because it isn't tight, but again we'll check that out later. But it didn't seem to go up and down as much speed wise as the mini tool did. But spindle lock again there, and there's an Allen key there, so you get this disc with it. So yeah, that's that. Can twist the guard around. So that's just a quick unboxing. So that's everything that you get in the box. And again, I'll go through. They always give you a pretty good instruction book with Lidl stuff. Full diagram. No silly sort of Chinese translations. Everything makes sense. There's page after page after page of safety stuff, like there always is, obviously a legal requirement. But shows you what each bit is there. And at the back there is a picture of the and an exploded diagram of the bits and the full instructions. So anything worth noting in there I'll mention later on, but I'm going to give them a thorough going over now and try them cutting some different things. Oh, forgot to say, could be quite an important bit as well. On here, on your battery adapter, there's a little USB socket, so that's great. You could charge your phone from the battery. So got it strapped around your waist, or you're out in the field in the middle of nowhere, you want to charge your phone, plug that in as well. Okay, so I've had it a few days now. I got it on Friday, it's now Monday, and I've had a chance to have a bit of a play with both of them. So I've been out this morning and I've cut some various stuff. So various tools that you get with it in the little box. I've not used them all. I'll go through in detail what they are and what they're for after these demos, but I've used 3 or 4 of them just to show you doing some stuff on the rotary tool. But we'll begin on the angle grinder, and I'll just show that cutting 2 or 3 different sorts of material. So we'll go through, like I say, in detail after that, after these demos. So let's just have a look at them now. Okay, so as you can see, I've got it here strapped, well, clipped to my belt. So it's reasonably comfortable there. It'd be a bit more comfortable with the smaller battery, the 2 amp one. But first of all, we'll cut some of the stuff. We're going to try the angle grinder bit first. Now, they say angle grinder, but the disc they provide you with is a cutting disc, not a grinding disc. So I can't really demonstrate it grinding, but you get the idea. You just do it from the side and for grinding metal. But we'll just cut some of this lightweight stuff, the stuff you're likely to be using this for. And so just a bit of plastic first, a bit of ducting. easy enough, but obviously you'd probably use a hacksaw for that. Let's try a bit of this. A bit more plastic, a bit thinner. Dead easy for that. It's quite good because you get a straight cut. Trying a bit of wood now, a bit of about 1/2 inch doweling, something like that. I'm turning the wood around as I do it. But pretty quick through that. Let's just try it on some steel now. Obviously it's going to be harder work for it, this, but as you can see there, it's only very thin steel, but it is steel. Aluminium, bit tougher. This it is an alloy. I'm not sure what sort of alloy, but it's double the thickness of that steel. So. And you see, reasonably quick through that. Be quicker even with a hacksaw. Could do it quicker than a junior hacksaw, but it gets quite a straight thing, and there was just no effort involved. It did seem quite powerful. It didn't get bogged down or stop it. And again, just wood, piece of ply, easy enough. See how easy it went through that. And probably something more typical of what you'd use this little angle grinder for is for chopping off screws here, or if this screw's coming through, chopping off the end of it. So I'll show you doing that now. So yeah, reasonably quick through there. Certainly a lot quicker than a hacksaw on hardened metal like this. But yeah, let's chop that off there. Just chop it further down just to show you. There we've got it flush, or nearly flush with the surface of the wood. So yeah, very handy for things like that. So as you saw there, pretty effective I thought, the angle grinder. And like I say, call it the angle grinder, but it is a cutting disc they provide. Cutting discs are much thinner than angle grinding discs. Grinding discs have their texture on the side. Now I'm not sure whether grinding discs are available in this 50mm diameter, because it'd have to clear that, so it could be a bit thicker, but it's still got to clear the guard at the front. But I'm pretty sure most of everything you'll want will be on a cutting disc. which is a tougher disc than the little ones you get for the rotary tool in the box. So as you saw there was plenty of power. It didn't hesitate or lock up or anything at any time. And that alloy, I don't know what it is. It's not a soft aluminium. It's pretty hard alloy of something or other. It's very hard to cut with your hacksaw. So yeah, did a pretty good job, I thought. And very, very lightweight. I didn't even know the cord was attached, really. So let's have a look at this one now with a few different tools. Let's try the rotary tool on it now. So just a matter of unplugging that, plugging the rotary tool in. And we'll get some stuff prepared, some tools for that. Okay, first tool we've got in the rotary tool is, and I'll show you in a second how you insert these with the spanner and this button, but it's just a bit of wood. So it will be just used on the angle grinder. And this is the sort of thing you'd use this for. Just grinding off. You can see on a sharp corner like that, you can see how quick it takes the wood off. And I'm on about half revs at the moment. If you can, I'll show it going up. So that's on full revs, and that's on half minimum revs. That's on my backpack, the battery pack here on my belt. So again, we're up to about half revs for this. Pretty good for doing stuff like that on bits of wood. And again, we'll try it on this bit of plastic. Okay. So that's that. Of course, you wouldn't try this on metal. It's just a normal sanding disc, so it's not the sort of thing you'd try on metal. And let's put another tool in it now. So this time we've got the wire brush in it. It's like a steel wire brush, and the sort of thing you'd use this for is for shining up metal. So it's got a bit of alloy here, and see that's on the alloy and the steel. Obviously the steel, you're not going to see it as much shiny because it won't come up, buff up like alloy will, but you can see it's getting down to through the top layer there. So this time we've got just a normal sort of cutting disc thing you'd be familiar with like just your normal Dremel ones. Obviously smaller than the mini grinder disc, which is 15mm, so it's probably about half the size of that. So I'll set the revs on maximum for this. And again, we'll just try cutting this bit of steel. See the little bit it's cut there. Definitely not as quick as the grinding disc one was. Try it on this alloy. See, that stopped then. Okay, it locked up and came to a stop, so yeah, it turned off at the battery pack. So I'm glad that happened. So if it jams up, yeah, it kills the power to the battery. So you're just going to press the button again on here, and then we're back going again. So. But you can see that a little bit cut there, and it's pretty thick alloy, is that. Obviously much more suitable for something like this. But again, you wouldn't use it on wood like this, you'd use a cutting blade. As you can see, it locked, it shut off again then. So no power, and it's hard to show you, but the bulb has gone out on here, the light. So repress it, we've got power again. Just carry on this cut through here. So as you can see, sort of burns its way through more than cuts its way. But again, it's not something you'd use it on that. A bit more stuff like this. Again, plastic ducting. Absolutely eats through that. So that's just your normal cutting disc. Now this time we've got one of the little tiny sanding discs, and these are a flexible thing. Now I'll show you close up when I'm back at the bench after these demos. If there's any wind noise, I apologise. I've got the dead mic on the microphone here, but it's extremely windy today. But these are a flexible thing. There's no rubber pad for them to back against it, it's just the disc itself. But I've just tried it and they are reasonably effective. So once it's spinning, if you look at this, that's a bit I've just tried earlier on, but I'll just get a better grip on that. And it's a really intricate work. So you can see all that burnt there, and as you see, the disc is flexing and flapping about on the bits, and it's not breaking because it's like a flexible thing, and you could get quite a good chamfered edge on it. You can see there, it's sanding right down. You can see there where I've done it. That is obviously you can't feel it, but it's very, very smooth. You can see now that disc is destroyed. But for little tiny bits of sanding, ideal. Right, let's see what else is in the box. Okay, so this time we've got the diamond, one of the diamond bits, and I've picked the pointy one just to show you sort of engraving. I would think this is mainly for engraving and tiny precision work when you want something tougher than the pink sort of silicon stuff. So again, you can see on here, that's what you would use for doing it. So That's on the alloy. Try it on the steel. So yeah, the sort of thing you'd probably use on glass, maybe, or whatever. That's just one of the diamond tips. Okay, so at the beginning of the video I skimmed over what you got in the box, but I'll just go into a bit more detail now on everything you get in it and how to put them together. Now, I'm sure most of you have probably already had a rotary tool or used a rotary tool, so you'll know how to screw things together, but just in case you haven't, in case this is your first one, I'll go through them all in detail. So what you get with it is you get these buffing pads. So you get two that size and you get two little tiny ones. And the way you put these on is you take this bit here, so this screw bit here just screws into the felt pad just like that. Manually screw it in. Believe it or not, that's enough for it. Just screws in, and you would use that for say buffing up. If you'd scratched the surface of your watch or something like that, you can get very fine diamond grinding pastes, starting with a coarsest grit going down to very fine, and you would buff it up like that to put high polish on anything like that. So that's that fits your small and your big pads. Now this one is probably the most handy one. Again, you go, it's like a rubber holder for these sanding discs. Now earlier on you saw this in use and you could see a big chunk came out of it. So if you're sanding anything really rough, it can knock the sanding off, so the actual texture off, but there's still enough left on there. So I'll put this one on. You get two of them. As you see, the other one is totally untouched. And the way they fit on is this one here, this rubber disc, you push them over it. He says. Push them over it like that. It's quite a tight fit to begin with. And then you get a screwdriver. There's a little screw in the end. Takes flat blades or Phillips blades, and you tighten that up. As you tighten that up, the rubber sort of squashes out and it grips that really tight, and then you can use that, like I showed, as a sanding disc. So that's that. Now I showed you these. You get 10 of these. So you get 2 of them sanding drum things. At first, I'd never used these, and I was expecting that to be like a peel-off adhesive thing that maybe went back against a flexible rubber holder, if you will. But no, it doesn't. That just goes directly on this one, and that's like a universal sort of holder for these type of things and your cutting discs. And you just put that over there and it screws on, and as you can see they are flexible, but they're pretty weak. That was what was left, as you saw just then in that demo of the one I used, but it was sanding a really rough piece of wood. So if you're a bit gentle with them, it's amazing how much sort of sanding you can get out of them. Also using that same holder, and that's like a universal thing, loads of different things will fit, you would put these cutting discs on. And these are pretty fragile. You can get some, they're not too bad these because they're the sort of fiberglass reinforced ones, but you can get some like this, they're extremely thin and they are very, very, very fragile. They break dead easy. So they usually sort of come in a little tub like that. But like I said, these are tougher and they are sort of fiberglass reinforced. You get 2 of them in the set. So you get 3 diamond tools. This is the one you saw earlier on in action. Little pointed one. There's that one, which is wide all the way up it. And this one, which is a sort of strange shaped V's in. I suppose you could cut like chamfered V's on the top of things, and they're diamond tips, so they're very, very tough. You get them 3, and you get these 3, and these are like silica, cylindrical one and 2 tapered ones, one a bit coarser than the other. Again, they just go straight in the ferrule. You'd use them on softer materials. And finally you get a little twist drill. Now this thing that you get with it is an adapter for the angle grinder. The disc that you get with the angle grinder, you only get one tool for this. Everything in the this little box is pertaining to the rotary tool. This comes ready installed on the angle grinder, and to take that disc off, so you just push the spindle lock in, and you undo that with the provided Allen key, and that just comes off like a normal cutting disc, grinding disc for an angle grinder. But like I say, you get that as well. And once you've got that off, that just screws in the end of the shaft, and that converts it down to a 6.4mm hole. So these cutting discs here have a 10mm hole in the middle, so that's what you're looking for when you're looking for spares, for one with a 10mm hole. But evidently there are some with a 6.4mm hole. I've had a look on Amazon, I couldn't find any, but they'll be around somewhere. You get that with it, and you get your Allen key as well. Allen key, I don't know why I'm showing you an Allen key, you've seen an Allen key before. And you get a little spanner to hold this, tighten it up when you're putting things in. So that's your accessory set. That's everything you get in that little box. You'll have seen around, you can get massive sets of them. They're regularly in Lidl's and all over Amazon and DREMEL and things, with loads and loads of cutting things. If you're cutting wood, like I showed this cutting wood, you wouldn't normally use it for wood. You'd use something like that. These don't come with the set, but you can see it's like a little circular saw. These are my own from earlier on, but you can get them blades that go on the end of that. You can get absolutely loads of stuff. I was hoping that this thread here, if you take that off there, was the same as the one on my DREMEL. But as you can see, they're not. The DREMEL is a much bigger thread, which means unfortunately that I can't fit these DREMEL tools for like cutting with a rotary cutter there, or the little circular saw attachment to it. But I wasn't expecting that. They're 2 different manufacturers, 2 different tools, so they're not compatible. What is compatible though is if you take this off, and again I'll explain what this is because some might be unfamiliar. It's not like a normal drill chuck. It's what you call a collet. So you get that, and your collet, which grips the tools, slides in there. But you can, if you wish, replace that with a little drill chuck. I'll go into the advantage and disadvantages of that, but this is the one off the DREMEL, and as you can see it does fit, so it's the same thread. So a little DREMEL drill chuck will fit, which is good news. So what these are, the way it grips all these tools, this shaft, And this shaft is your standard size Dremel type shaft. You can see there, unlike a drill chuck, which is 3 jaws, there is 4. It's like a cross hatch thing. And as you tighten the black bit down on top of that, it squeezes it together, and they grip better than a drill chuck. So you put that in. The disadvantage of them is that if you want to put something in there with a different size shaft, as you can see, that just goes in there, and then you tighten that up. So you press the spindle lock here, which locks the spindle, and on this thing there are 2 flats, and you can tighten that up. Usually hand tight is enough, but you can tighten that up with a spanner to get it really tight, and that is locked in there, and that's probably a firmer grip than a drill chuck would be. But like I said, a disadvantage with these is if you want to use different diameter...
I don't know that one.
Don't know why ALEXA went off there, but if you want to use different diameter tools, you need to get different collets to fit. With a drill chuck, you can tighten that down and it'll go from a weight of tiny drill bit right up to a tool like this. So what you would do is, if you wanted, like I said, this drill bit here, I'll just show you how tiny this is. See how small that is. It's absolutely minute, probably 1 millimeter or something like that. But obviously that is much thinner than the shaft of one of these tools. So if you tried to put that in there, it'd just rattle around. So what you have to get is different collets. Oops. So I got these previously for something else, and they're all the same size shank, so make sure that size is 4.3 millimeters, which is your standard Dremel thing. But as you can see, the holes in the end of them vary from really thin to pretty thick. So as you can see on that, they're both the same shaft. Hold that bit there. They're both the same size shank, so they will go in the tool, but the end of them are designed for holding different tools, and the one over there is a tiny one, so that would hold that microscopic drill bit. So that's what you need to get, and like I say, you can get them in various sets with various sizes. So I think that explains everything. Like I say, I've gone into great detail there, more than you need to know just about the review, just in case any of you, this is your first rotary tools, because you'll be used to, on your normal bigger drills at home, a drill chuck. But like I say, these use the ferrule system, which grips tighter. So I think that covers everything on about attaching the tools. So I'll put on screen here what size you need. So the tools, that's the actual tool that goes in, are a 3.2 millimeter shaft size. The outside diameter of that shank that goes in is 4.3 millimeters, and that adapter is for different discs. So let's have a look at some of the spares you can get on Amazon now. So these are some of the blades. I just typed in the top 50mm saw blade. Well, what you're looking for is, so that's 80mm, so that's 2 diameter, so that's too big. What you're looking for is see these things here. That set there, that's the same set there. High speed steel circular saw blade, 5 pieces, 50mm, 10mm bore. So that bore there is the 10mm that'll go on this machine, as will one with a smaller 6.4mm, but like I say, I haven't been able to find any of them. But so that's them, and there's loads as there, so more 50mm. You'll find loads and loads available. And like I said, the collet sets, anything like any of these really. So that one there, 30 pieces brass collet. That's that size there, the diameter of the bit that goes in the tool, in the rotary tool. And you can see the end of these are all designed to hold a different size drill bit. And there's 30 pieces that'll hold tools from 0.5 millimetre thick. You see, you'd struggle to hold a 0.5 millimetre diameter drill in a drill chuck. You know, it's going to be a much tighter fit in these, and 0.8 and so on and so on. That's only £8 for that entire set. So hopefully that explains the different accessories you get with it. So I said I'd show you anything of interest in the instructions. So there's quite a lot of info on that page if you want to freeze frame it. This starting here is the actual angle grinder. Now you can see that will go from 4,800 revs to 6,000 revs. So only sort of like a difference on that speed control on the battery pack of about 1200, between high and low 1200. That's the angle grinder. That's as fast as that needs to go. The other side, just here, the multi-purpose tool, that has a much bigger speed range and a much higher top speed, 5,000 to 25,000 revs, and it gives you all the info on there. These are the batteries here that it takes, the 20x20 volt teen batteries. So I'll just show you this. All them demos I've just done this morning, and more before that as well, because I was practicing before I filmed just to get the hang of things. So I probably did all that twice over, and I've not put the battery on charge yet. I just want to see how much it's charged. I suspect it's not used too much, but if we put that on there and have a look. There we can see it is 2/3. It's showing 2/3 fully charged, and I suspect, sorry, blocking the mic. It's showing 2/3 fully charged, and I suspect that it won't be very long until it's absolutely fully charged, because like I said, that's 4 amps. So yeah, that battery will last all day really. So yeah, as you saw as well in the demos, if the tool locks up, if you're like overdoing things and trying to cut too much, pressing too hard or whatever, I don't know if it's a thermal cutout or what, but it will stop before any damage is done. You've then got to manually repress the button. Obviously I've not got the battery on at the moment, but repress the button to start it. And like I showed you, if you do unplug it when it's still turned on and connected, when you plug the new tool in, you'll find this flashing. You've just got to press it to start it. But yeah, I think having the speed control there is a pretty good idea, because you can just bend down to turn it up, and you're not knocking any speed control on the machine itself that you might catch once you're using it. And the beauty of it is you've got a 4 amp 20 volt battery powering them. Now, like I say, if you had that on the tool itself, it would weigh a ton. You wouldn't be able to do your fine, intricate work. It'd be like using a drill. So yeah, an unusual method of connecting them to power, but I quite like it. Like I said, when that was clipped in me belt, hardly knew I had it on, and that was with the 4 amp hefty battery. With the 2 amp, you wouldn't really notice it. And being just a cable, it's dead lightweight. It's like having a really, really lightweight tool, which for these sort of tools is what you want, because they're for intricate hobby type work. You don't want to be lugging a massive battery around attached to the tool. You don't mind that on your big powerful drill when you're drilling brick walls and things, but not on a tiny little tool like this. So I didn't really notice the lead was there. And if you snag that lead, if you're under somewhere and you cut through it, you're not cutting through a mains cable, you're just cutting through a battery lead. So the other alternative would be to have the tool mounted on the machine itself. But like I said, that uses these Lidl's smaller range of tools batteries. These are 12 volts and 2 amps. I think the very early ones were even less than 2 amps. But yeah, they use that, and again, they're very effective. But that does weigh more than the other. So basically, I've got every size of angle grinder now, ranging from the little tiny discs that you can use on the rotary tool, next stage up that size, and next stage up that size, and I've got a 4-inch one, and I've got the big massive one as well for cutting like paving slabs. But yeah, a lot heavier, at least twice as much as this, I would say, for that. And yeah, and like I say, you can run them all day off a 4 amp pack. They'd probably soon get through the 12 volt 2 amp one or something, I don't know. But yeah, I think a pretty good idea having that flexible lead method to connect them. And who knows, maybe Lidl in the future will come up with some other tools that you can just plug that thing straight in. Obviously little handheld type things. Maybe a small compact soldering iron. Maybe a tiny small compact soldering iron. A little tiny sabre saw would be great. I've got a mains operated one with a tiny blade like a jigsaw. But one with like a jigsaw, if you will, but coming outside, but not vertical, would be a very, very handy thing to have, powered by that same battery pack. So, yeah, maybe they'll have a new range of tools that fit these, I don't know. But yeah, would I recommend one? Yeah, I think so. Well, yeah, I know so. I absolutely love it. 34 quid for what I showed you at the beginning. Nice blow-moulded case. I'll put them all back in the case and then I can remind you of how they fit. So yeah, got it all back in the case now. That's how most of Lidl stuff. Get a nice blow-moulded case. And if we just undo it. So sorted out. Everything is in there. Rotary tool, angle grinder, pack to put the battery on, space to store the 4 amp battery, space to store the 2 amp battery, and your little accessory case, and even a separate compartment for the instruction book. And like I say, pretty good, always quite a good instruction book. Like I say, tons and tons of safety stuff that you can skip. Like, do not use underwater and things, are obvious things, but they've got to put them in legally, I suppose. But lots of useful information as well. There's only sort of 2 languages in there, and it's quite thick. It's got a fault finding chart, you know, if things aren't happening, to check it. So for 34 quid, without the battery and charger, remember, so you must source them separately. It's pretty good. Don't forget, I put a card at the top at the beginning, but I do go into great detail on the batteries and chargers available at Lidl's on the review I did on the impact driver. So again, at the end of this, I'll put a little picture there, the top one I'll make, the impact driver. If you click on there and follow the timeline along the bottom, it'll lead you to some pictures I took in Lidl's of the various batteries and the prices and the charger that I showed you earlier. So yeah, pretty good value, I think, at 35 quid. So I've just got to find room on the garage shelves for it now. There's everything's packed in there. I've not got any room for any more tools, so I'm going to have a bit of a sort out. But another box for the garage won't be used that often, but yeah, I will definitely use it. Like I said, the Rotary tool seems as good quality as the Dremel. Okay, it's not got the digital control, but I don't have to plug it in the mains, and I can use that anytime I like. And yeah, quality wise, pretty good. Brushed motors, not brushless. You're not going to get brushless motors at this price, but for something like this, you don't need super duper heavy duty powerful motors with tons of torque. So yeah, hopefully this review has been of some use if you're thinking of getting one. So if it has, please give me a thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed, it would be fantastic if you could do so. I'm getting up to sort of 3,000 subscribers. Tiny drop in the ocean compared to most YouTubers, but to me it's another milestone. So at the recording of this, I'm up to, I think, 2,911. So if I could get up to 3,000, it'd be fantastic. If you haven't already subscribed, click the little picture here of the shed, and then click the bell icon below to be informed of any new uploads. So I'll catch you for the next one, whatever that may be. Thanks for watching this one. Bye for now.